Okay, I'm just waiting to see. I think I'm live now. Okay. Okay, this is what is up. Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm just waiting to see. I think I'm live now. So let me come back to my YouTube. Okay. Let me come back to Zoom, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, this is what is up. Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm just waiting to see. I think I'm live now. So let me come back to my YouTube. Okay. Let me come back to Zoom, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, this is what is up. Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm just waiting to see. I think I'm live now. So let me come back to my YouTube. Okay. Let me come back to Hello, everyone. I think I've sorted the problem that I have. But just for me to be sure that this thing is on YouTube, I need to just go and check and really confirm that I am on YouTube. Oh, yes, I can see it is on. Yes, I think I say that. Hi, hello, everyone. Bamidele Olamide. Thank you so much for joining. Daniel James, Abel, Akbo Ginet, Abdullahi, Imodagbe, Jody, Diondo, Eke Juba, Victory Okonko, Charles, Gani, Brian. Thank you so much for joining. It's really a pleasure having you all here. I decided to start early. We're going to start our program by 5 p.m., but I just felt let me start it early and do all the checks and everything. And I think and we're also, I think this is my first live on TikTok. We've also gone live on TikTok. Just let's have more people, join the conversation. In the meantime, if you have questions for Deji, as we await him coming in to join us, please go ahead and put those questions down even before he comes so that we'll be able to see, how do I put it now? I will be able to ask him some of these questions. Then also, if you want to be with him, maybe be with us on Zoom and directly ask some of the questions, please send a mail to livewithaisha01@gmail.com. That will help so that we have some, people coming and all of that. So hello, everyone. For those of you on TikTok, I think probably this is my first live on TikTok. I really don't know how this thing is done, but hey, this live interview, we just want to get them out there. My guest today, he's going to join me on Zoom. For those of you on TikTok, you might not be able to see, but as I go on, I will try to learn how it is to be able to, while you're on Zoom, you're transmitting, on TikTok. But part of the things that we're going to be talking about with Deji Adeyanju is about justice in Nigeria. Is there hope for the common man? And these are questions that we really want to see. And you see what has been happening in the last few days, the little children that have been, incarcerated. I think that's the word we should, abducted rather. Why are we even being nice? I mean, come on, these people. Like I asked someone, I said, look, I did a video on my YouTube channel and I said, what's the difference between Shekau and Tinubu? I mean, in 2014, Shekau abducted our daughters. We were doing Bring Back Our Girls. And then 2024, Tinubu has abducted our sons. Are we going to be doing Bring Back Our Boys and all of that? And you see how emaciated the children were. They were slumping so in the courtroom. And there was report that George himself had run away. I mean, why is he being cowardly? Why is he running away? All he needed to do is to do the right thing. Call the police that arrested this, berate them, and allow the children to go back home. How is it that children came out to shout that they are hungry? They shout that they are hungry, there's hardship and everything. And the next thing, you're locking them up and causing more of that, hunger. And guess what? Deji Adeyanju is right in the house. It's 4:55. Deji, oh no. 4:55 and Deji Adeyanju has just joined us. And it's really quite, how do I put it? Quite interesting. Yeah, you're muted. Your camera is not on. If you're trying to do any of this, just so you know. So welcome, Deji. Although, yes, it's not yet time. So probably you're taking your time to be able to do all of that before you call me. But I'm really, I'm really excited with the fact that you are on time. I remember we had a particular program where they just, because of certain things, as a lawyer, now he gets called, someone has been arrested, he needs to go and address it and all of that. And then they were like, oh, they are like, no, I know Deji's always on time. And so it's always good when you can vouch for someone on certain things. I'll be able to say this particular person, is on time when they're doing something. So yeah, we're going to have that conversation and a whole lot more. And so please, ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, so let's continue. But in the meantime, please do not forget, I don't know, they're asking me, TikTok is asking me subscription goal, add live goal. I don't know what that means. Subscription goal. Let people just hear and be active Nigerians and do things for for Nigeria. That's, for me, that's the thing. We can't just give up on our country. That's my goal, please. As much as people that will live here saying that, yes, we decided I'm going to be an active citizen. I'm not going to allow these people get away with doing all the things that they do and stuff like that. That would really be great. So thank you so much, everyone. Hi, hello, Deji. Can you hear me? I think you're still muted. Yep, you are. You are muted. So if you can hear me, please kindly unmute. And okay, he's calling me. Hello, bros. Oh, okay. I get what happened. Okay, thank you. Let me go. Okay, so it's actually my fault that Deji is not. So remember, guys, I told you the last time I did this thing. It was during my live show that this thing live with Aisha. This particular thing that I'm doing right now. That it was hacked, and then they started showing pornography. We quickly took control of it, but unfortunately, what do you call it? YouTube brought down my channel, and it took a lot for me to be able to get it to get my channel back. And so I'm a bit skeptical. So everything here right now, currently, you're unable to mute. So
yes, yeah, I have been unmuted, but the video.
Yeah, the video. Sorry, I'm trying to find that now. I think. Let me see. Okay, I think I might know what's what. Okay. Check and see. Are you able to stay? Fantastic.
Yes, great. My sister, it's so nice to see you.
Let me laugh first. It's so funny seeing you so serious. Lawyer.
You say make I come. I say who I be. When the Almighty Aisha Yusufa is calling you, you must come prepared.
I mean, no fast me here. Just seeing you with all these books, I'm like, okay, Deji's actually a lawyer, but this one, when your own person, you're gonna see and finish and see now. Thank you so much. It's actually a pleasure, having you here. And thank you so much, Deji, for joining us. Well, we entered this now. We not get time to do. I suppose they read your profile.
Oh, which profile?
Everybody don't know that one. But let me just say, I really appreciate the fact that you came on time, and the way even before time. For me, that's the way things are supposed to be. We must, if we want to do certain I say to people, we must hold ourselves to higher standards than we hold other people. So that's something that is commendable. Thank you so much for joining me today. For those of us who are here, today we are going to have a conversation, probably an hour and a half. You know, Deji is very busy. And so we are going to make it, quick. But the topic for today is restoring faith in justice. Is there hope for the common man? So I will start off by asking Deji, is there hope for the common man?
Well, sincerely speaking, going by what is going on in the country, I don't think there's any hope. Because as of yesterday, I was in court representing some of the protesters in court. And, it was a very emotional period for me and for almost everybody, lawyer and non-lawyer inclusive. Many of us, we cried in open court because we couldn't just withstand the dehumanization any longer. It was that of a situation where we were seeing before eyes the degrading of children, and the caricaturing of, our nation, right before our very eyes. And if you look at why I said, sincerely speaking, that there's no hope, is because there appears to be two different countries, one for the poor, one for the rich. And it's unfortunate that the rich are having a field day in this country. And if you look at the political cases, you will discover that the speed and the attention with which they receive is not the same with the conventional cases in court. Also, we must create, because the idea of rule of law, as propounded by Professor A.V. Dicey, the father of the rule of law school of thought of some sort, is that the rule of law must have general application, that all citizens must be treated equally before the law, and that the law must be blind to all, that the law must not favor A and while B is not favored. The idea is that no citizen should be put beneath the law and no citizen should be put above the law. But what we are witnessing in our nation, whether prosecutorial or whether procedural, is that certain citizens are more citizens than others. And that's why in this same country, people protested that they are hungry. Yeah. And the solution to that is arresting them and putting them on trial and subjecting them to more hunger. As we saw yesterday, that majority of the children that we have been crying for their release in the last 93 days, that instead of admitting them to bail, they should not even have been brought all the way from Kano, Bauchi, Kaduna, away from their parents, away from school, to all the way to Abuja. That prosecutorially, and even procedurally, these students and kids should have, at best, been arraigned at the state high courts within jurisdiction in Kano, in Kaduna, in Bauchi, as the case may be, for just minor crimes of maybe disturbance of public peace at worst. What is the business of children, little kids, and treason or mutiny? It makes no simple sense. And on the other hand, is the idea that, politicians who have stolen billions, for instance, alleged to have stolen billions, like the Abelos of this world. Yeah. Arrest warrants have been issued against them by courts, but the security agencies will not arrest them, or they are too afraid to arrest them. They will not be arraigned before the courts. And most shamefully, they will even disregard orders of courts. So while kids are subjected to treasonable felony charges and mutiny charges, indeed, these are signs that, there is no hope in sight.
I do hear you, Deji, and I get your sentiments. I mean, things are really so bad. But are there things that citizens can do? Because if we say there's no hope totally, you understand? I hope the situation is hopeless, no doubt about it. But are there things that we can do as people before we go on to justice that, can make us not just stay and not do anything, but get that hope back that we currently don't have right now?
Yes, there are a lot of things citizens can do. And it is from when citizens begin to do those things that, we can be able to rekindle hope. Yes, there seems to not be hope in sight, But I don't believe that all hope is lost. However, citizens can do a lot that can be done. E.g., like I've always said, citizens can become active, because when citizens fail in their responsibility as citizens, leaders are bound to be complacent. The complacency of leaders is as a result of failure of citizenship. Citizens and citizenship in its whole essence. Because for me, I believe that when leaders are not accountable, it is because citizens let them get away with too many things.
Absolutely.
And Nigeria is the world capital of leaders getting away with almost everything. The people who have done this to our children should not get away with it in an ordinary and an ideal situation. Because if they get away with this, they will do worse. And we have seen these instances where people have been arrested for patriotism to their nation, like we have seen during the End Bad Governance protests. That was one of the greatest form of patriotism to one's nation. And citizens were arrested. The other citizens said, since I was not the one that was arrested, they didn't show any sign of solidarity, or care. So if citizens had risen up and come to the rescue of other citizens by leading more further protests, imagine how many are these leaders. Imagine if 1 million or 2 million people come out to say, we do not accept with this decision of government to arrest fellow citizens. Everyone will have been automatically released. Then these kids will not have had to spend 93 days in custody. So when citizens fail in their responsibility as citizens, then leaders have a field day violating citizens' rights. Secondly, another thing that can be done is that citizens can galvanize themselves, and form pressure groups to demand for reforms at all levels. Reforms, electoral reforms, administrative leadership reforms. Citizens can even vote out bad leaders and prevent rigging and hijack of elections. Citizens can prevent issues of rights abuse. Citizens can even refuse to protest and sit at home. This is where the labor union comes in. We have seen how effective sit at home can be in the Southeast. The Southeast shuts down every Monday. So it doesn't always have to be protest alone. Citizens can choose the other non-violent method by, staying at home. Market women can down tools. Tanker unions can down tools. Electric workers can down tools. This is the only way, because the country is not working. If the country works for all of us, we will not have a situation where we are having lack of power, lack of good roads, lack of good schools, where citizens' rights have frequently violently been abused. So these are some of the steps and things that citizens can do. The reason why our country is this bad is because of the actions and inactions of both citizens and leaders alike.
I totally agree with you where you talk about the fact that citizens are not doing the things that they're supposed to do. We actually have also failed. Dr. Obieze-Kwesili will always say that governance is of two sides, the demand side and the supply side. Those we voted into office are the ones who are supposed to supply. And then we that voted them into office are supposed to make demands. And unfortunately, most citizens, don't get to do that. And as you were speaking, you talked about the fact that the power of sit at home. I know, yes, now the Southeast thing, because, everything has to be done in moderation. Life is all about extreme. It's never a good thing. And so it's been abused in a way. But I can just imagine what it is to wake up in Nigeria and there's nobody on the street.
Yes.
So they're not going to be let them be tear gassing themselves. Let them go out and be tear gassing themselves. People are at home. We say, no, we are not. We are ready to sacrifice this. But most times when you're calling on people to do that, there's a selfishness that we as citizens, we must take responsibility for that. We as citizens have in feeling that, it's none of my business. So it has not affected me. So I will not go out there and do anything. And then that's why you see some people who come and say things like, I never thought Nigeria will happen to me. And I'm wondering, when it was happening to others, you thought, you were different from me. But anyway, you've heard what Deji has actually said to us. Am I supposed to be calling you Barrister Deji? You're my bros.
Yeah, I'm just your brother.
Am I supposed to be very formal? Yeah, like, I'm calling you Deji and I'm feeling disrespectful. I say, the guy now lawyer now. You go hear this. Okay, bros. So yeah, I see that. So there's a question here that someone has asked, because like I said, we are actually live on YouTube and also on TikTok. Someone said that on this issue where they are saying that I think they call it counsel to the federal government or to the police has come out to say that they are not minors, that most of them are married, they are this thing. He's asking whether you've been able to ascertain through birth certificate and all of that, even though yes, we can see, but you know the way you people in the law, it's not what we see. Have you had those things that show evidence to show that they're actually minor?
You know, the law is settled on that as regards to the age of a child. It's only the mother. Majority of the kids, their mothers, their parents were in court. They have attested to their age. The police are not the one who gave birth to the children. And we can see also, you know, the law takes into cognizance certain things like dates, weather, time, you know, physical features in arriving at conclusions. By mere physical attributes, we can see that these are just little children.
Yeah.
You know, one of the mother said that the son is 10, contrary to what they said on the charge, that he was 13. You know, so we have been interfacing with many of these parents from the time of arrest till yesterday. So, and we have seen that, you know, the government was extremely callous, mean, and wicked in even detaining them in the first place. If not for all the efforts we did, the children would not have been arraigned yesterday. We put a lot of pressure on government to make sure that the children were released. There's nobody that we did not beg in secret to release these children. From the government side to the security agency side, we have been begging from day one that these children were brought to Abuja, that the kids should be released. We have met almost everyone. I do not want to mention names. Yeah. But we had gone around offices in this country begging all the leaders in this country to release the children. You know, but they were adamant that there was an instruction that the children should not be released. You know, and so we had to force them, because we went to court to compel the government to release the children. So it was as a result of some of the cases we filed in court. That was what made them, because twice those cases had been adjourned, and one of the particular matter case involving the minors was now slated for hearing, and there will have been no other option but for the court to direct their release. That was what led them being arraigned in court yesterday.
Oh wow! I read a tweet of yours earlier on where you had said, I think this tweet was done yesterday. Yes. You said you all don't even want to know the fight we fought to get the kids arraigned in court today. We have been on this issue since they were arrested 93 days ago. The kind of things going on in Nigeria is unbelievable. All I can say is that there's no hope for Nigeria. And so this, you know, it talks about the testament of the background work beyond what people see out there on a lot of things that are being done. And one of the things also is the fact that we've had a very shameless Nigerian government for decades. They don't care until you shame them, until maybe there's an outcry, then the international community and the world begin to look into what's going on. That's when they actually do the things that they're supposed to do. And so tell us about this bill. I see that they have like, is it 10 million naira bill? I just want to also put it in terms of that we have a lawmaker who recently assaulted a Bolt driver, and I think you're their lawyers. And the lawmaker was given 500,000 bill, if I'm not 500,000. And then these children are given 10 million naira. As someone who just explain to us what this is all about.
Yes, you know, because this matter is before the court. So, and I'm a lawyer in this matter. So to become subject is if I begin to make comments or remarks that tend to bring the court into disrepute or bully the court, trying to make the court reach a conclusion or an assumption. But all I can say has already been explained in my opener, that there appears to be two separate countries, one for the rich and one for the poor, unfortunately. You see, in driving home this point, let me just go back to the earlier analogy that citizens have a role and a duty, you know, to their country. Yeah. See, when people started protesting in the Southeast, they were killing them on the street almost on a daily basis. So they devised a new strategy that, since they are killing us every time we come out to protest, that they now elected to stay indoors on a particular day. We don't have to shut down the country every day to make Nigeria work. Do you know what it means for people to refuse to come out on a Monday all over the federation? The country will lose billions on that Monday. You know, it will become an international embarrassment to the government and the country. So I think that, and no sacrifice is too much to make for protection of human rights, because these rights are inalienable. They are rights that are expected citizens to enjoy. Even God expects us to enjoy these rights. So why our government take away these rights from us? These rights are our birthrights, you know, and that is why they are called inalienable rights. You know, so citizens can resort to, you know, but abstinence, complete abstinence in activity on a particular day to protest, you know, some of these violations that is going on. But in most cases, you know, just as regards to money in like sum, whether for shortship or as a bail bond, this is money that is expected to be paid in the event that a defendant who is standing trial before court of competent jurisdiction does not show up. So that money is more or less a bond that you commit to produce the money should event that the defendant absconds or the defendant refuses to stand trial or face his trial. So, but having said that, and that is why I said that there appears to be two separate countries, one for the elite and the privileged few, and while there's another law and another country for the less privileged.
Yeah, I hear you where you talk about, and I totally understand with you where you can't talk about these cases because your party to read. When we also talk about this bond, yes, it's not as if they are saying this the children or their families should bring 10 million naira down, but for you to be able to have someone that can even say, if you don't appear, I'll bring 10 million. That 10 million is in the conversation. You have to be at a certain economic level.
Absolutely.
And if these children were there, they won't be in this.
And how can somebody be protesting hunger that is hungry? And you now feel that that person has money, you know, or someone that the person knows someone that can produce such a bond.
Yeah, so that's the thing. For those of us who are joining us on TikTok and on YouTube Live, please send in your questions so that we'll be able to ask Deji questions. And for those on TikTok, I'm very sorry. I'm seeing a lot of messages coming in. This is my first live, so I don't even know how things go on here. So please, I'm seeing people say, okay, they want to co-host and all of that. I will find a way that will streamline it. I wish it was a way that he also will be part of it. So please bear with me today. I'm trying to learn the ropes, but the thing is that when I actually learn, I sort of like try and do a little bit more. So please send in your messages for that. I'm also trying to, if you want to join us on on Zoom, just send a mail to live with Aisha01@gmail.com so that I'll be able to send the link to you, and you can also join us directly here and have that conversation. So thank you so much, Comrade Deji, for all that you do. One of the things that I want to ask you, and I think for me, it's going to be a bit of a question that is neither here. No, you know, say be my brother, but that one no me say, if you do anyhow, I no go flog you. If me to do anyhow, you whatever.
Of course.
So just a few weeks ago, I saw a tweet that you had done, and I think I did a video on it, where you talked about the fact that because of the way this whole country is, and going to 2027 election, and things have been so mortgaged that there's capture, state capture, judiciary's capture, INEC capture, and everything, and that it would be better for Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, and Atiku to just use their money on a bet, or to bet rather than to run. What I want you to look at, and I want to see from your own point of view. I've spoken about my point of view. I want to see from your own point of view. If we say, oh, people should not take part in election because everything is mortgaged, and then is it not the same thing as if I say to you now, Deji, there's no need of going to court. Just forget about taking this issue because the judiciary is mortgaged and they don't do anything. Is it not sort of the same thing? Would it be better for us to not take part and just sort of like allow them self-defeat ourselves or fight them, even though the fight is hard, even though we might not win, but let us not give them the opportunity to just words it round to us. I want you to look at it from this two sort of like perspective.
Yes, so I think that's the frustrated part of me speaking. Frustrated, tired, angry, pained by lackadaisical nature of citizens to just not do anything. I don't know why Nigerians are always messiah hunting when they should be trying to save themselves. This idea that somebody is coming to save us, so therefore let us not do anything. Let us just be waiting. After all, Aisha Yusufu, she's coming. Aisha Yusufu to come and save me. So it's from a place of anger, a place of frustration, I think. And I think I agree that I need to be more positive. I need to be more positive. I need to be more positive about my outlook, in trying to make sure that
okay, go ahead. I saw a message coming, and I know you're very busy, and I'm sure people are coming. So go ahead and answer that message. Yeah. I can see you're trying to do two things at the same time. So go ahead. I'll just take when you're finished, come back.
No. It's not a message. It's just kind of interrupted my. It was a call that interrupted my screen. So I don't even know how to enlarge the screen anymore, but I think I'm audible and visible. So
you're visible over here. You're quite loud.
Okay, great. So what the issue is that yes, the state capture, no doubt, but I think I need to be more positive and not allow the frustration and the depressing situation in the country get to me. I think that's one thing. I also feel that, yes, what I was saying is that it's premised from the fact that I do understand when the political elite, none of them is a novice. They've been at this game for a while. I don't see why there should still be division in the opposition by this time, because you are dealing with rogues, you are dealing with crooks. These are people that they've appointed politicians into INEC. These are people that are appointing politically exposed people into the judiciary. These are people that have turned INEC to almost APC secretariat. So I don't see why in my mind, I feel that the political elite and the political class by now should be working towards a major merger, and that this major merger should be outside the conventional political systems, outside the conventional political parties, which are sincerely being run by Tinubu. Because whether it is the PDP, Labour Party, NMPP, in my view, I feel that they are being run by Tinubu. I said it, I think I said it last week, that it's only Peter Obi that has even made any attempt at clearing the APC and Tinubu moles in his political party. As of today, the neck of PDP cannot even sit because the chairman works for Tinubu. The chairman of Labour Party, the Aburi guy, works for Tinubu. The chairman, they had removed him. He went back to court. He got some form of respite in court. The Konkoso and his people in NNPP, they are not even pretending. They don't criticize the government. They don't oppose the government. They are just having a great time. So for me, in my mind, I also feel that the political elite in the country, that they are so complacent and they are so, even when few of them, the Atiku and the Obis of this world criticize the government, they are so mild, they are so diplomatic, look at what Aisha does. Aisha calls a spade without any form of political correctness. I do the same. Omoyele does the same. So what are we talking about? Why should anybody be afraid of calling a dictator a dictator? Oh, no. I'll rock the boat. Oh, I don't want to sound too harsh. Look at what the then APC, they all came together. Look at what they did to the then PDP. They were not being politically correct. They went for Jonathan's jugular and they got him out of office. So that is how to play opposition. It's not to be playing opposition of political correctness. So in my view, there's practically no opposition in the country. I would have said that the opposition is not inspiring, but that is even if there was an opposition in the first place. So for me, it's from a place of frustration, it's a place of pain and place of anguish. So, and I think I need to be more positive. And truly, all hope is not lost. And citizens can still do the needful. Citizens can still rescue their nation, away from these buccaneers, bandits, and political scavengers and armed robbers that are in power.
Mm. I hear you, Deji, and I totally understand understand that point of view. Sometimes you're so frustrated; it's almost as if there's a gloom out there. But for me personally, one of the things that I always carry on is the fact that I don't mind though. Even if you will defeat me, I would rather you work hard to defeat me rather than for me to self-defeat myself and not put myself, out there. And I get that whole thing, especially there's something that you said that is so apt, Messiah hunting. Nigerians do that a lot. You see somebody will have a problem and you're saying to the person, come out and fight this thing. Let's stand together. But they were like, no, we don't want to do it. They want somebody else to do it. I remember when we were having this conversation, I did ask you that question to say, I'm sure right now Nigerians are just coming and dumping so many things on your table and they want you to be the one to do it for them while they are waiting by this side. So I must say that even we also
and the irony of it all is that they subsequently turn around and say that you are clout chasing.
Oh my goodness. Before that, Aisha, the same people I can't remember who had the saying that in Africa, if you are fighting the oppressors, you only use one hand. The other hand, you'll be fighting the people that you are fighting, on their behalf. That's what they will always say. People will always do everything to denigrate you. And then I also, in a way, I understand. So let me explain it to me. You tell me if maybe I'm wrong in what I'm looking at. That's the way I've been able to just work with this. To say Nigerians have been so disappointed. They've been so many times they believe in people and those people will disappoint them. So I think right now what they're trying to do is that they're trying to protect their hearts, protect themselves to say, even this one is one of them. It will disappoint us soon when we put in there. So they are so disillusioned. So a lot of people would rather say,
but Nigeria is not the only nation where such happens. It happens in America all the time. People believe that Biden was coming to come and help them fix America. Obama was going to come and turn America to space. Trump was coming to come and, enthrone Christianity and do this and do that. Leaders coming, whether in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and they disappoint because leaders are humans. And that's why we need to stop this Messiah hunting. This idea that, a Messiah is coming, and he will just wave his magic wand like we were told about Buhari. And once he waves his wand, Nigeria will become Dubai. So Nigerians must sincerely stop that Messiah hunting thing. That is what keeps the country perpetually on the floor.
Thank you so much, Deji, for this. We have Felicia Okoro. Thank you so much. Also, Afribution TV. Thank you. There's a question here from Twitter that says, the children, where are they currently? But before you answer that, I just want to say to people, I don't know what's happening. Technology. You'll be sitting there, Jaja, the thing that I used to do before, it just won't do. I'm trying to access the email, and all of a sudden, today of all days, the email that I've put in, because I have to see whether those that want to join by Zoom and send it, I can't just see, but I'm still trying. So if you've sent an email to live with Aisha, at live with Aisha01@gmail.com, I've not answered it because I've not been able to have access to it. What I normally do that is so simple before, it's suddenly so difficult for us. But before you answer that question, Deji, of the children, where are they currently? Are they with their parents? Are they back in this state? It's to say that there's a comment here that somebody made, and he said that, Deji's an APC mole. To give context, I've been called an APC mole. Aisha is who has been called an APC mole. Aisha is who has been called a PDP mole, whatever it is. So all of these names, how do you deal with all of these personal attacks? that you get. Even there's one that, okay, I think I was at a space that was in 2022, and people are like, oh, why are you defending Deji? What I said then was that they say you had been paid to do certain things. I said, look, Deji, I know he's a business person. I know for that, you know, and stuff like and all of that. How do you deal with personal attacks when you're working on issues?
Yeah,
To
you
keep
see,
going and not just
that is
forget
the yes, that is the reason why I don't block anyone, because I enjoy it. You know, I don't block. I will never block. You know, in fact, I'm one of the few people in Nigeria that is retweet insults. When somebody says I'm an APC mole, I retweet it, because for me, I feel that that is them expressing their freedom of speech. I'll be the last person to report somebody because the person defamed me. I'm not a Burna Boy that will go and use police to arrest somebody because he feels his ego has been bruised. You know, so I will not use state institutions for capture or intimidation of citizens. There's no name that have not been called. There's nothing that, and the truth of the matter is that if you feel I'm an APC mole, why don't you be a Labour Party mole or a PDP mole or an NMPP mole or an AAC mole as well, so that you can repair the country? Who told you that it is my job to get to repair the country or to make sacrifices for the country? What has happened to you? What has happened to your voice? What has happened to your heart? What has happened to your legs? Why can't you go on the streets and try to salvage the country? Why can't you also contest and run for something? Why must it be an Aisha? Why must it be a Deji? Were we born so that we can go and take risks?
We were not born with placards. We were not born with it.
So the issue is when people fail in their responsibility as citizens, they are looking for others to blame for their failure. I am doing my best so that my children will absolve me of any wrongdoing. You know, I have called this president a dictator. I've called this president a thief. There's no name. I've not called Tinubu. There's no name, either during the campaign or after the campaign. So what have you done as a citizen? How have you been able to hold government accountable as a citizen? If you have failed as a citizen and you see somebody who is refusing to fail, who is trying his best, of course, you'll be wanting to blame them. You'll be wanting to hold them. Instead of holding leaders accountable, you're trying to hold people that trying to hold leaders accountable. What accountability do I owe you? I'm not elected. You understand? I'm not an appointee of government. I don't owe you any accountability. Whether I'm an APC mole, a PDP mole, a Labour Party mole, I don't even owe you any accountability. I don't owe you any explanation. So the idea that some people feel that we need to explain what we do and the things we say and our stand or ideology to them is one of the greatest delusion that Nigerian politicians have been able to, you know, inflict on the citizenry. It's a delusion because I am just a normal private citizen doing what I feel is right. I may be wrong, but I'm just doing what I feel is right. And I'm doing my very best. Do your best as well.
And that is all. I'm doing my very best. Do your best at all. And if you think his best is not good enough, do your own to surpass that particular thing. And I think when you talked about that, people are looking for others to blame instead of taking responsibility. So a lot of people are able to say, oh, we are not doing this because those that are doing it, they are doing it to chase clout. They are doing it to get popularity. They are doing it to gain this. They are doing it to
let me just shed a little light on that. Let me just shed a little light on that. Fuel is now over 1,000 naira. Why don't you also chase clout? Exactly. Why don't you also chase clout, and maybe your cloud chasing can bring back the fuel to 165 naira. Tinubu is giving us week in, week out an opportunity to chase clout. Look at almost 100 and something kids have been arraigned before the court. Come to the Federal High Court on Monday and chase clout.
If the clerk know how to chase, go chase them. The popularity, go and do it.
Exactly.
And sadly, that's just the thing about it. But I think it's also people who don't want to take responsibility. And just like what you said, what can we do to get justice in our country is that let people take on issues. Let people be active citizens. If it's electoral reform you want to take on, take that on. If it's on the judicial reform and stuff like that, take that on. Whatever it is, just take something on that you will go ahead and you're ensuring that it's being done. At the end of the day, it will not mean that all of us will be able to have a country that we all can be very proud of. Doing nothing is not something that it's not something that we should take on and say that's okay as it go. I'm trying to please send in your questions. I'm still trying to on TikTok. I don't know whether I'm the one who is unable to see these questions coming in. Please, if you have questions, go ahead and send them in for us to answer. I'm still trying to work on getting access to that email. I just don't know what happened, but usually it's my fault because I'm very poor when it comes to technology. It takes me time to be able to get these things done. Remember, we are talking about restoring faith in justice. Is there hope for the common man? If we were to clean up the judiciary, because it's one thing for us to cry that there's a judicial capture. And Deji, so I don't know whether as a lawyer, now as a lawyer, you can't talk anyhow the way me I would talk anyhow as my own citizen. The one you cannot talk anyhow, no wahala. Just let me know what it is. But let me just ask this question. So I've been thinking, I'm like, most times you see when people leave you finish your law school and all of that. So you have option to either go the journey of the bench or bar.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. But the bench is not very, it's not, you don't get as much money. I might be wrong. So correct me anywhere that I'm wrong. But now you're seeing politicians, you're seeing what have you, putting their children there, everything there. And this capture started, some of the capture is like 20 years ago. You're seeing houses being built for judges. I don't know, there have been reports of school fees being paid for this thing, whatever. How do we ensure that there's credibility in the whole? And if you're not able to answer this question, it's completely okay. Since you're a member of the Rope, they call it. No, you are not. You are but whatever it is, what can we do? What can citizens do? Can I, for example, an individual that says, "I will do the sacrifice. I'll be part of it to ensure I'm part of those. I'll clean up that system." What is it that people can do?
Yeah, so you see, the Code of Conduct for Judicial Officers is very explicitly clear that judges must avoid contact with citizens, with politicians, with this. So, and this is the idea. The idea of judicial independence is that the judiciary must be free from interference, whether from the executive, the legislature, or private persons. Private, emphasis on private persons. So, the judiciary because the judiciary is an independent arm on its own. So the judiciary cannot be independent if it is having constant interactions with the executive arm of government or the legislative arm of government or a judge of the Federal High Court or State High Court, as the case may be, or the Court of Appeal or Supreme Court is attending party organized by politicians.
Yeah.
Attending house construction flag off of politicians. So the idea is that because the law knows that if these judicial officers begin to interface with people, whether politicians or non-politicians alike, that the idea of bias, because the thought alone of bias is enough to make the right-thinking member of the society believe that the judiciary is corrupt or that the judiciary is biased. And that was the holding in the case of FRN and Abiola, where he had accused the judges of the Supreme Court of bias against him. That, his newspaper had published things against them. That how can people that his newspaper has published, his newspaper has called them corrupt, his newspaper has done so many things against them, how can they now sit over his matter? You understand? Yeah. So the idea is that these judges should be immune from interaction. And that is why we say politically exposed persons should not be judges. Politically exposed persons should not be INEC, because these are supposed to be independent institutions and bodies. You cannot be independent when you are having meeting with politicians. When a politician has access to walk to your office or to your house, you cannot be. Because you cannot be a judge and you are married to a politician. Because other politicians, governors, they'll be coming to your husband's house and they'll be seeing you.
We saw that. Sorry to interrupt you. I think we saw that with Senator Bulkachua.
Yes, where the husband was saying that there's none of you here. There's none of you here that my wife has not done, that we have not done favor for. And the senators have to be begging him, it's okay, it's okay. So So this is the reason why the law says people who should be judges must be conservatives, people who are not party goers, people who are not always attending Owambes. The judges cannot even belong to social groups. So the rule is very stringent on these officers in the temple of justice. So it is expected that they are held to a more higher, standard. So you cannot be a judge and you are frolicking with political actors. Your husband is frolicking with political actors. No matter how competent you are, the average right-thinking member of the society already believes that this person, that there's going to be some form of interference in the administration of criminal justice. So this is why these set of people are expected to be people who are immune from any form of interference whatsoever. So that would be my take on that.
Okay. Thank you so much on that. Let me ask something that it's a part of it. We're talking about justice. What role can technology play in increasing access to justice? Let me just tell you one of the frustration that I have. It's going to court and seeing judges having to write out everything themselves. I'm like, why are judges writing that? Can't we get stenographer? I grew up reading novels, how stenographers will, I think they call them stenographers, something in court where they write everything, that is being said. And here we have someone, you have to spell every name and I think that also leads to this issue of delayed justice that we have. And at the end of the day, if justice is delayed, it's also injustice in its own way. What role do you think technology can play in the Nigerian justice system, to increase access to justice?
Yes, we have been saying it, that even the filing process, originating processes should be filed online. Yeah, brief of argument, all processes, we should decentralize our judiciary. Even issues around appeals should be done, filings should be done electronically, everything, agreements, dates, everything should be done. And we should also embrace this idea of, conferencing, issues around taking witnesses electronically, because some witnesses should be outside jurisdiction. It makes administration of criminal justice and even the civil cases easier. Deposition of witnesses should be done electronically. This idea of insistence that, witnesses must be present, they must come for physical depositions at the Federal High Court or at the State High Courts, as the case may be. So a lot of electronic innovations can bring about smoothness in our justice system in our country. So I agree 100% that, we need to infuse technology to ensure that we get the best, out of the circumstance, so that justice can be administered more swiftly and quickly.
Oh, thank you so much for that. What about social media?
Yes.
What role does social media play? What can it play more in ensuring justice?
Yes, social media is
just the noise making they say we make on social media.
Yes, social media is one of the main mediums for activism and highlighting injustice in the country. I know that judicial officers and even many lawyers alike do not like social media, but we must come to terms with the reality of technology and the role that technology can play for us. And social media can even be used as a tool to get citizens to have confidence in the administration of criminal justice or the civil proceedings, procedural aspects of law. I believe that, this idea of inculcating the Gen Zs who have lost so much faith in the judiciary, in the legal profession, that if it is effectively used, that people will tend to have more confidence in the justice system. The idea is that the judiciary in itself should be the last hope of the common man. How can the judiciary be the last hope of the common man when the most potent tool of the common man, which is the social media, is seen as an enemy?
Okay, it's seen as an enemy. Mentioning Gen Z, I will say to you, for me, the more active people that we have, the better for all of us. And one of the things I've always insisted on, even when people come to me, oh, there's a fight that needs to be done. We need to, I was like, are you ready to be part of it? Because we need more active citizens. And I'll tell you, in the last few years where we've had the whole political system, we've been taken back to pre-Yaradua days, as in when you'll be on queue and they'll be announcing results. But one of the things for me is the fact that a lot of the Gen Zs have, after NSAS, decided that they will no longer be passive citizens and they're doing something about it. And so that gives more room for, for them to be able to hold government accountable and for all of us, to still keep going on. But I just want to ask a question. I know a good number of the cases that you take on are pro bono.
Yes.
And people come, they have issues, there's an issue out there, you're taking it pro bono free of charge. But do you think in a way that this is also, how do I put it? This also gives people the opportunity to behave anyhow, knowing fully well that there's someone that will do something pro bono for them because they are not paying from their pocket. So, for example, you would defame anyone because I know someone will stand for me, or they do not, whether you or any other person will stand for me pro bono. Do you think it doesn't give people that disciplinary, how do I put it now, disciplinary attitude or incentive for them to do the right thing rather than just do anyhow and say that we end up in court because someone is going to pay the bill?
Yes, let me again reemphasize the position of the Supreme Court, what my Lord Justices said in the case of Atonwako and the states, where it says people in government or public people, famous people, that they should develop a thick skin for criticism, for insult. That this idea of trying to criminalize freedom of speech, should be discouraged. That's what my Lord Justices said in that case. The idea is that people look at me. There's no kind of name that I've not been called. Even my wife, they don't even spare my wife. You understand? But we take it smiling because we know that we've already put ourselves out there. My problem with Nigerians is that Nigerians feel too big. Who are you? How can you criticize me? How can you insult me? This small boy insult me, a whole me. No, I'm going to show him. So they will call one area commander somewhere and say, area commander, this person just insulted me, call my mother a bastard. Oh, this person say I'm a thief. So they will now use taxpayers' money to go on. They will now constitute a task force comprising of 13 officers to go and arrest somebody over the ego of another citizen. Why should security agents, why should they waste taxpayers' money in trying to fight to protect the ego of someone who has been insulted, who feels too big, whose ego is larger than the national stadium? So I have a problem with that. Yes, I know that the tendency for people to say, oh, I've been defamed, I have been this, I have been that, for God's sake. I'll give a very simple analogy of a matter that is in court. I will not want to go into details about the matter. Or where somebody said something and was asking questions and certain people felt insulted or felt defamed. The matter is very simple. If I was the one whose name was mentioned, I would be more interested in saying, oh, yes, let's expose this thing.
Yeah, absolutely, my brother.
Yes, let's expose this thing. I will not be defensive to say, I will sue, I will do this. Abba, what are we talking about in this country? Have we not been saying we want to expose corruption, we want to do this? Why are we now behaving like the Nigerian elite, the politicians who don't like their name to be called? They don't like to be challenged. So why is there so much ego? Why are people, oh, my name that I have labored for, all of us have names. And all of us have been insulted in this country and subjected to ridicule. But we always look at the bigger picture and we say to ourselves, we say, oh, even if it is because of me that somebody will say, no matter how painful it is to come, even if you call my parents and you declare me to be a bastard, as long as it to make Nigerians see the bigger picture, I'm willing to let everything happen in that regard. So I don't want to make comments that will be subjudice, but I believe that Nigerians have an idea about what I'm talking about. So we must see beyond the larger picture of just self, I, myself, and my family.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Deji. Someone is saying that the children, are they back in court? You didn't answer that question. Are they,
yes.
are they with their parents?
Initially, when they got a remand order, they took them to the prison. The prison rejected them because the prison cannot accept kids. So yesterday again, after proceedings, they took them again to the Kuje prison. They were also rejected. So now they are back. They are back at the IRT police facility where they have been starved all this while for the last 93 days. So they are back in that same spot again. We have been sending people with food and other stuff to them to the best of our ability. You know, there's a limit to what we can do, sincerely.
Yeah. Let me just ask a question here. So this is it. They are not in prison.
No.
They're not. So they've been put in a place that is not that doesn't have the ability to be able to take care of them because the prisons have rejected them, saying they are kids.
Yes.
So are there no place where, for example, juvenile homes or any of those?
Yes, the juvenile home in Suleja is not ready, which is under the administration of the prison. The place is not ready for what they said yesterday, that the place has not been in a good shape for a while. That was the excuse that was given yesterday. So they are being detained in the cell where most of armed robbers and all those people are kept at the police facility in IRT, many of them. And this is why many of us have been discussing with development partners that like in the last 2 months, that's what we have been discussing with them, that aside just this incarceration, that we need to begin to look beyond when they are released, how we will now commence the rehabilitation process for this. Because these kids have been exposed, by the police to other suspects, so kids protesting are now being kept in the same facility building with suspected dangerous criminals. So this is also another serious and grave danger for our nation.
When you just hear those things, and sometimes the issues are very hopeless. But at the end, the thing is that we must keep fighting. We cannot stop. We cannot afford not to fight. Their parents oppressed our parents. They have oppressed us. We must not allow them oppress our children. So the fight is just to keep going. I love what you said in terms of the fact that who are you not to be called out? And for me, I always say to people, when people come and insult you, why do you get angry? But when people come to compliment you, you don't get angry. Insult and praise are the same thing. There are people's opinion about you. So don't let the praise get to your head. Don't let the insults get to your heart. And then if somebody has accused you of something, it's an opportunity for you to show people that you didn't do it. It's not something.
And you just move after that. Exactly.
And so while you were talking, I was thinking about myself. I mean, I've been accused that I stole Labour Party money. Even the Labour Party people have come to try. At one time, I had to help them tag EFCC because they say EFCC to investigate me. So I even sent them, please send petition to this EFCC so that they will remember EFCC. As far as I'm concerned, it's opportunity for me to come and farms and see.
Exactly.
That's your money, nothing touch it. After all, there are reporters, investigative reporters that have checked the account from A to B. If there was any part where I should chop 1 naira, they would have brought me out. Even me, we want to bring myself. So I truly agree with you in terms of people should not be, how do I put it, very light skinned, or is it light skinned, a bit not thin skinned, and just try to take up. But I get also at the same time, there are people who want to follow certain issues on, because if it keeps going on without it being countered, then it becomes something like, oh, the person must be guilty. And so
yes, that is if there's clear malice. If the person just sat down on his own I started calling your name. If there was malice, but when in the absence of malice, people must always see beyond themselves. People must always see beyond people must always look at the larger picture. If the person did not just sit down on his own and started going after you, there was a reason why certain things were done. You understand? You cannot understand, because all of us for years, if not for decades, we have been at this. We have been criticizing others and wanting the right thing to be done in this country. Do you understand? So that is where my shock is coming from. That. What is the issue really?
Yeah, I get that, but there are also places where a person's reputation is equally very important, and people have to stand up, in terms of their reputation. There's a question here, 2 questions I'm going to put coming in from our viewers here. One said, why are judges not shown on national TV when they are doing something? And then why are police officers afraid of of people in power?
Yes, the idea is that people should not know these judges, so that you cannot go and meet them and compromise them, so that when they walk into a supermarket, they can peacefully buy whatever they want to buy. You don't even know them. Do you understand? So the idea is to shield them from interference and corruption and people sending them gifts, people all of a sudden crashing into their children's wedding, crashing in to come and compromise them. The idea is to see the position of a judge. The position of a judge is a sacred one. These are people that should not be exposed, whether politically, socially, or culturally. And that is why they say even when they attend a church or a gathering, they should not be seen. These are people that should not be seen. So the idea is we must do everything within our power to protect them. And that is why even us, we are officers in the temple of justice. We have a duty to the courts to protect, my Lord, to protect people from viewing, from recording court proceedings. So when we try to educate people who are in court, we can enter a court and see people who do not understand the idea of courtroom decorum. So it is our duty as lawyers to educate citizens, to say the reason why you cannot record court proceedings is because you need to protect my lords. You need to protect them from intimidation. You need to protect them in terms of security-wise. You need to protect my lord from people trying to entice and corrupt them. So this is the reason. Secondly, the question on the police. The police largely are just badly behaved people. They do not understand that policing is public relations. The number one role of a police officer is a public relation person. So, and this is why police in other crimes are very advanced and developed, because they take policing as public relations. But alas, that is not our case here in this part of the world, where they take policing as an opportunity of bullying, of showing power, of brigandage, of brute force. And that is why citizens have no regard or respect for officers wearing uniform in this part of the world.
Thank you so much. I think at this point, I would just like to apologize for the fact that I've not been able to get to be able to check the email account to see whether messages have come in for people wanting to join. Please, if you did send an email and I couldn't get back to you, I truly apologize for that. I've been trying to get in. I don't know what happened, but I'll try to sort it out. Hopefully before next Saturday.
Yes, and unfortunately, my sister, I'll have to leave at 6.
Oh, yes, sure. I'm working towards that. I truly understand how busy you are, and the fact that you graciously accepted to come in today when I called on to you. So at this moment, we will be rounding up on this. But there's something that someone said here. Okay, yeah, I think it's from Emmanuel Emodi, and he said, Deji, I like your thoughts. It's very precise, and the need of more people to be involved in the affairs of state. Before you answer that question, I would say to you, one of the things I do know about you is the fact that you're quite intelligent, and you are quite, articulate and able to look at issues and be discerning about it. I would have loved to have seen you in the National Assembly. I'm not giving up hope yet. One day I'm going to see you there dragging you like I'll drag small Jen and say, Deji, why have you not done this? But it is important that we get people into politics whom they have a second job. What we've done, we've allowed politics to be by people who don't have second job other than the politics itself. I know it's 1 minute to 6 p.m. and I'm not going to abuse the privilege that I had to be able to reach out to you and you join me. So at this moment, I'll just say, give us your last words, whatever it is. What do you think we should do? And then
you see, my last word is that our country must be a country where equity becomes, our anthem, our national anthem. That a change in national anthem cannot bring about justice, cannot bring about rule of law, cannot bring about economic development, cannot bring about societal progress, cannot bring about a deepening of our polity. What will make this country great is equity in terms of business, in terms of running of the economy, in terms of administration of criminal justice, in terms of politics, in terms of religious tolerance. There must be equity. Any nation built to fail, like Nigeria currently is, a nation where you build a refinery for an individual called Dangote, and that refinery, not just built for him by the government, they are now saying that, every other person who is into oil must stop importing because of Dangote. Because Dangote went to court to say other people who are doing oil, that Nigeria must become Federal Republic of Aliko. That cannot be a nation that is heading towards progress. The same way that refinery was built for Aliko, they should build other refineries. But the Constitution is very clear. I can cite many corpus sections of the Constitution that talks about equality when it comes to doing business in the country. A situation where you built a refinery for someone, while your own refineries are not working, and you can also not sell those refineries that are not working, and everything is tailored towards making this man to be the one that has the advantage. This is also akin to arraigning children, while you are failing to arrest the Abilu. So everything is connected. The injustice, the inequality in the country is not certain. And the only way that we can develop our nation, the only way that we can make progress as a nation is for us to come together and agree that the only guiding principle for us as a nation must be equality. You cannot have a situation where fuel that is imported into the country from Brazil, all the way from Brazil, that is money that they used to buy the fuel, money they used to transport the fuel, duties that were paid on the fuel, freight money, all the money that is paid on the fuel from Brazil to Nigeria, the fuel that is bought in Brazil and other parts of the world is cheaper than fuel that is produced in Ibejuleki.
So Deji, because you are in a hurry to go, because this is a whole new conversation that you started, and first of all, is to say, okay, Aliko Dangote was refinery built for him. I don't know. I thought he built it himself. But just before you go, and just to say, because I used to be an importer, and I can tell you that yes, there are imports that are made, and they will be made to be cheaper because one, people want to clean money. That's the issue of corruption. It's called predatory pricing. They deliberately bring it in. They will sell it at a lower cost. And ironically, that's one of the things that Dangote has used a lot to keep people that have mentioned this severally, you understand, to keep other businesses that's you crash your price and sell it at a cheaper rate. Then when that person goes out of business, you come up and increase it again. There's also, remember that they steal oil, our oil, crude oil is stolen. They can take it out, refine it, bring it and sell it cheaper. So but what you're saying can also be correct, but I just said there are many dimensions towards it. You might not have that.
While I do not disagree, neither do I agree. It's very simple. We know for a fact, all the people in oil and gas know for a fact that this is how much it takes to produce 1 barrel of crude oil, refine 1 barrel of crude oil. And at most, we know that Dangote says he took loan. He took several loans. At worst, if he wants to be
And
greedy,
NNPC also put in money. I remember
yes.
NNPC. Then
Now that
he said that they didn't put. But when they
yes.
said he didn't say anything.
Now let's say he even wants to be so greedy because all the costs paid at NPA to NIMASA, all the taxes, there are almost about 9 taxes paid on imported products. Dangote does not pay any. Do you understand? So if we take that out alone and money for freight, all those things, Dangote shouldn't be selling his fuel more than 600 naira. So let's even say he wants to be a capitalist to the core, 700 naira. Why should his fuel be at 1,000 naira when fuel that is bought from Brazil and brought here is cheaper? And if he feels that, oh, the people that the cabal that have been importing fuel into the country want to run him out of business, why don't you just make your fuel cheaper? And let's see who will still be going abroad to go and bring fuel. It's simple economics.
My brother, you know why I will not agree with you is that simple economics. One, yes. I've also been into production. I'm a businesswoman, I'm a trader, you know, that I've never worked. So you are also a business person. One of the, it's not that, if you're doing manufacturing, remember in terms of, first of all, capital is not cheap in Nigeria. So for you, access to capital is very expensive. We don't have infrastructure. You have to do your own life. If we take a company in Brazil, for example, they probably don't have to focus on generating their own power as much as someone in Nigeria would. I'm not speaking for Dangote. I'm just trying to put, these are the business things that are out there. So it will not be as cheap. So when we look at it, and also the people that are bringing in oil, we shouldn't look at it from their point of view. We should look at it. Let's check out how much are those people in Brazil selling their oil. Because Nigerians can buy something for 1,000 naira outside, bring it to Nigeria and sell it for 500 naira because they want to clean money. And let me give you a very
now let me shock you. Let me also shock you, my sister. Now, dollar is very high. They are selling for that in naira, right? Now, dollar is almost 1,740, if not more. Now, someone that buys product in Brazil with dollars should be the one selling.
No, how much are they selling to him in naira?
Now, landing cost today for imported fuel into the country is 1,105 naira landing cost. That's the price that you buy in Nigeria. Now, Dangote wants to sell his fuel according to inside sources. He wants to be selling for 1,200. He said this is the only way he can make profit.
Yeah, he has to make profit, actually.
Yes, he said this is the only way he can make profit. Now, all the things that the importers, people that import fuel, we have calculated it economically speaking. Okay. They spend almost about 700 naira in terms of freight, duties, almost 700 naira. So if you minus 700 naira from 1,200, it simply means that fuel that is produced here should be around 500 naira. Fuel that is produced here.
Okay, so let me quickly chip in something. What about subsidy? Remember that they were still paying subsidy up, or they are even still paying up till now. So are they going to
the subsidy differential now? The subsidy differential now is less than 80 naira. Okay. About 80 to 85 naira. Okay. Do you understand? So now, and before we used to pay, that is per liter, before we used to pay almost 700 naira, 800 naira. You understand? Now, because they have increased price of fuel, it's now 80 to 90 naira per max per liter, which the country is saving a lot of money. And that's why you see them giving billions now to governors.
For themselves, okay.
Their allocations have quadrupled. So that is just by the way. So what we are saying is that if you are so desperate about being the greatest monopolist in Africa, why don't you just lower your prices? You know, so I think this is my final take. Thank you so much, my sister, for having me. Maybe I will try and come again at some other time.
Yeah, I would really love to have you quickly come in. But before you go, Deji, I know I speak very fast, so I'll try to speak very, very fast. In 2012, between 2010 to like 2013, I think was when I finally stopped. I was importing tomato paste. It's called Alim tomato paste into the country. My landing cost in Lagos was around 1,030 naira, 1,065 naira, or 90 naira, depending on how much you're paying, to clear them and everything. It got to a place, my sachet, I was forced to sell them for 650 naira, 600 in Kano. It was a terrible moment for my life. I didn't celebrate my 39th birthday, which was December 12th, 2012. I didn't even know it had happened because it was when I saw a letter I sent to my producer. I said, stop all production. There's a problem in my country. Just to say to you, there's a breaking that happens with the corruption we have and also money laundering, where people just bring in things and they can dump it in Nigeria and sell it without consideration for profit. I had I was trying to calculate, let me see how much. I had over 10 containers of tomato paste sachet that I sold at a cost. At the end of the day, later on, when I look back, I said to myself, if I had known, I would have abandoned the things at the pot and just pay off my producer. I'm just putting this to say, in business and the Nigerian business, there's a whole lot that happened. But for me, which was one of the things I wanted to tweet earlier, is that Dangote now is also feeling the pain of some of the things that he has done over the years to a lot of other businesses, to kill other businesses.
I don't even agree that he's feeling any pain. If you look at it, since his refinery started, his wealth has almost quadrupled. He's not feeling any pain. He's not feeling any pain. This guy is an unrepentant capitalist who wants to kill Nigerians with overpricing. We have done the maths with people who are in the oil and gas sector. He's making a kill with the refineries, making a kill. It is better, it is cheaper for us to import fuel into the country than for us to buy fuel at exorbitant rates at Dangote refinery. And it is because of him that government has succeeded with this increment in petrol, because they use the excuse of his refinery coming on board to do this increment. That was what gave them the impetus to say we must remove total fuel subsidy because Dangote refinery is coming up. And the further arguments they make that, it will improve the economy, that they will now sell in Naira and there will be less demand on the dollar. What are we talking about, for God's sake? When we were selling crude oil globally, a dollar transaction, we sell crude to the IOC, sell crude to people abroad. Were we not earning in dollars? If you now sell to him in Naira, where will we get the forex to run our economy? So the arguments are neither here nor there, economically speaking. So Nigeria is between the devil and the deep blue sea. Anyhow you look at it, the economy will suffer.
Thank you so much, Deji. It's been an honor and a pleasure having you today. And I don't want to keep you too much so that the next time we are calling your team, we don't say, no, the last time you were there. I just want to say thank you so much. And we hope next time we call on you that you will grace us with your presence. God bless you so much.
I will. Thank you so much. God bless you for calling my sister. God bless you.
Take care. Well done. Okay. So that's Deji Adeyanju, coming in to be with us today on today's program. It's really been a pleasure having him. And I must say to every one of us, it's been quite an interesting conversation. And yes, for some of you that probably don't know Deji, you've seen him. He's very articulate, honestly, quite very intelligent. And I love the fact that we've been able to have this conversation today and just, go on from here. Okay, so yes, it's been. Please don't forget, Live with Aisha will be coming up next Saturday by the grace of God, 5 p.m. Nigerian time, where we'll have continued this whole conversation again. For those on TikTok, I'm still trying to learn what TikTok is all about. So please do forgive me if I've not been able to come up and do a good number of things. I see they have like creator, you can have other creators on and stuff like that. I will work on that, on getting that done. For those of you on on what do you call it now? YouTube. Thank you so much. And please don't forget, we have Ovevekuve TV, where we'll be talking about the Ovevekuve matters, that come out of Nigeria. So on my channel, you can't just be talking. I've seen that, okay, I do 4 videos there. So there's so many things that are packed on. So we created Ovevekuve TV, where we just have those conversations and talk about all of those things. So if you could do us, just help us give it a follow there, so that you get all the news coming out of it. Please, who do you think should be our next guest? What Help us put it down with the hashtag live with Aisha. I'll try as much as possible to be able to get someone. And this conversation that Deji brought on is an interesting conversation that I think I would love to follow that on this Dangote refineries. Yeah, even though I have a bit of idea, but as he spoke, there were quite certain things that he like popping up in my head, like, okay, explore this more and understand this more. For me, I'm anything that will help Nigeria, save Nigeria money, it's what I'm looking for. And I do know that businesses try to oppress other businesses. Yes, someone did say something. He said 12, 12, 12 is such a significant day. And for me, it should have been a very significant day, but I can tell you, I literally was crying. In short, my family were so concerned about me, because most of them were thinking about it. Oh my goodness, because I was losing so much money. A trailer, a container of that sachet, I think it was like, I can't even remember, was it like 9,000 cartons in it or something, or more? Then imagine you're doing that, and then I was losing close to like 400 naira to 400 to 500 naira on each carton. I remember this was a time when dollar was around 100 and something. So each 100 and 200 was more than $1. It's not, if you don't look at it as the 200 of today. So in 2011, 2012, how it was. And I was losing I would sell a whole container that is having more than 10,000 cartons. You're losing so much money. I was losing. But I know at the end of the day, one of the things I said to myself, I sat myself down one day and I said to myself, Aisha, you grew up when it was very difficult for you to even see food to eat. You go to school in the morning without breakfast. Coming back home, you were not expecting lunch. So if you're losing this amount of money, I lost, over $500,000, definitely, at minimum. And so I was like, if you can lose this amount of money, I mean, that's progress in its way. The day my mindset shifted to that was the day I had freedom. And I was just like, whatever. So that's how I always tell people, for me, I have no attachment to wealth, whatever comes. So I do know there's always predatory pricing that people do a lot. But hey, it's to say to every one of you, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, for being here with me. And it's really been a pleasure me having you join us all. And so the conversation has been amazing, but we'll bring on more people to have this conversation. I really thank Deji, because I think it was just 2 or 3 days ago, when the whole case of this, I just called him and said, Deji, please, can we do this? And he immediately, agreed. I really appreciate that of him. So see you again next week, Saturday, 5 p.m. Nigerian time, by the grace of God. And please, apologies for the email. I'm going to work out and see what happened and get it sorted so that the next time it's on. I would have shared the link the way I used to share the link before publicly, but unfortunately, this time I'm trying to be very careful, because when you put the link out publicly, hackers just come in and join and cause all sorts of havoc. So thank you so much, everyone. God bless you all. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you. And probably TikTok, maybe I might do more live. Sometimes when I'm doing YouTube live, I might add it and also do, TikTok live. But let me tell you something. This country can be a great nation. And those countries where things are working, it's people that decided enough was enough, and they went in and they made it work. So please, don't let anyone gaslight you and tell you Nigeria will not work. If they say Nigeria will not work, it's okay. Let it not work for them. But we that believe that Nigeria can work, we put in our best and put in the work and get the result. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye-bye. I told